What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about the greatest Canadian athletes of all time. As an American, like Americans do, I'm into sports. I'm into learning about athletes, but for the most part, I just know about American athletes and a couple sports that I'm interested in, really, not much more than that. But one thing I don't know anything about is Canadian athletes. I mean, sometimes if they are just the best of the best of the best in history, they might get talked about a little bit, but there are gotta be so many amazing Canadian athletes out there in all sorts of sports that I've just never heard about, that most Americans have never ever heard about. Well, today, that is going to change. And the way I did this was I went to ChatGPT, which maybe you've used, maybe you've heard of it, but it's basically an AI that you can ask questions. It's like Google on steroids that uses its knowledge of the internet to generate very sophisticated answers to any question you ask it. And today I used it for the forces of good to make it generate an answer to this question. Give me a list of the top 15 greatest Canadian athletes. And Chat GPT said, here is a list of the top 15 greatest Canadian athletes of all time in no particular order. And wait, we scroll down here. Oh, no. I'm not going to show you what it came up with just yet. That would ruin the point of the video. We're going to go one at a time here. But if I do scroll down to the bottom, you can see that it said, please note, this is not an exhaustive list. There's many other Canadian athletes that could have been included. This is just what the little AI came up with, which is a good place to start, probably came up with some pretty darn good answers. So with that in mind, let's take a look at possibly the top 15 greatest Canadian athletes I've never heard of. So number one we have here is Mark Tewksbury? Mark Tewksbury? Am I saying that right? I'm probably not saying that right. Canadian swimmer. Oh, yeah. See, perfect example. Like, swimmers in America, you got to be Michael Phelps pretty much to get talked about. So there's no way I'm going to know about a Canadian swimmer, no matter how influential they are. So this is perfect, I never would have heard about him otherwise. Mark Roger Tewksbury is a Canadian former competitive swimmer known for winning the gold medal in the 100-meter backstroke in the 1992 Summer Olympics. Nice. He also hosted the first season of How It's Made, a Canadian documentary series. Nice, branching out. Cool. Swimming is awesome. I mean, honestly, showing swimming on the Olympics and on television really, I feel like revitalized it in the American eye and probably the worldwide, honestly, with some of the amazing things you see when the Olympics come around. But other than that, swimming is one of those sports that just doesn't get enough credit. So I'm glad, actually. I'm glad this is the first one. Mark Tewksbury. Cool. Number two, Christine Sinclair, Canadian soccer player. Not football player, soccer player. This Google knows who it's talking to. They know what audience I am. I need soccer. Okay, I understand. Soccer player. Christine Margaret Sinclair is a Canadian professional soccer player who plays as a forward and captains both National Women's Soccer League Club and the Canadian national team. Wait, she's still active? 39 years old. Yeah, so she's still active according to this. Wow. Oh, does it have anything more than that? Like how many championships she's won or some interesting stuff? Maybe if I go to the Wikipedia, can I skip down to... Yeah, who wants to learn about, their whole life story? We don't have time for that. No, I'm sure it's an extraordinary life story, but we don't have time for that. I don't know what else to say. Personal life, style of play. Oh, statistics? Oh, man. I think what I'm learning here is I just don't understand soccer statistics, or at least how Wikipedia presented it. Oh, here we go. Olympic Oh, Olympic gold medalist. That's worth mentioning. Two-time Olympic bronze medalist, a gold medalist, 14-time winner of the Canada Soccer Player of the Year. That is why she belongs on this list, for sure. 14-time winner, Canada Soccer Player of the World. World's all-time leader for international goals for men and women, 190. Oh my gosh. Also the second player of either sex to score at 5 World Cups. My goodness. Very impressive. Christine Sinclair. I had not heard of her. Cool. Number 3, George St. Pierre. You know, this is like, I'm glad they included this. I feel like this might be one of the only athletes, one of the only Canadian athletes I know of. I don't even watch that much MMA or UFC. I just remember a few years ago, like George St. Pierre was all over the place in the UFC. Canadian fighter, awesome, super nice, super Canadian. I've seen interviews of him. Canadian actor, former professional mixed martial artist, widely regarded as the greatest fighter in mixed martial arts history. I did not know that. I did not know he was maybe considered the greatest mixed martial arts fighter ever. Maybe that's why I've heard of him, honestly. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, if you're the best at something in Canada, America is designed with like just how we do news and coverage of sports. You might not get heard about, even though you are pretty darn good at your sport, because you're not American. But George St. Pierre is so darn good at MMA, possibly one of the best ever, that I have heard of him. But also, I've watched it on TV a little bit. Very cool. Number 4, Steve Nash. I've heard this name. Steve Nash. Where is it? Because it's basketball? Man, basketball is so big in America. But I don't watch it or follow it. So there's really no chance I was going to know if any basketball player was Canadian or not. Stephen John Nash is a Canadian professional basketball coach and former player. Recently served as the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets and the National Basketball Association. He played 18 seasons in the NBA. He was an 8-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA selection. Pretty amazing. For the Lakers and the Suns and the Mavericks. For the Lakers, right? That sounds familiar. Gosh, I feel like I should know this. Oh, who did he play with? Okay, I'm probably just going to keep going. I'm not going to dive too deep into anyone because it's going to take me down a rabbit hole or something and I'm not going to find the answer. Steve Nash, Canadian basketball player. That name almost rings a bell to me. So he must be pretty dang good. Number 5, Nancy Green Rain. Is a Canadian former senator for British Columbia and an Olympic alpine skier. Voted Canada's female athlete of the 20th century. Oh my God, won the giant slalom in the 1968 Winter Olympics. What is the slalom? Slalom? I feel like I'm butchering this word. What is a slalom? Oh, you go down the hill on your skis and in between the poles. I definitely just nailed that. Exactly what that is. Wow. 79 years old. Okay, so she was, maybe in like the 60s. Yeah, 1968 Winter Olympics. Gold medalist. I mean, what's amazing here is Canada's female athlete of the 20th century. That's pretty astounding. And a senator. Wait a minute. And a senator for British Columbia, from champion skier to senator. What a life story that is. That's awesome, actually. Like, what? Wow. Okay, pretty cool. Number 6, Larry Walker, a baseball player, Canadian baseball player. Even though I am American, like, I don't really watch too much baseball either. I feel like I'm getting exposed here. I've not heard of Larry Walker. I bet you hardcore American baseball fans would know this player and know that he's Canadian. American baseball fans tend to be pretty hardcore. Oh, Larry Kenneth Robert Walker is a Canadian former professional baseball right fielder during his 17-year Major League career. Played with the Montreal Expos, Colorado Rockies, St. Louis Cardinals, so Canadian and American baseball teams. I wish they just had a little bit more about his accomplishments. Oh, what do we have here? Only player in Major League history to register both a .7 slugging percentage and 30 stolen bases in the same season. I don't know much about baseball stats, but I think that's impressive. Stolen bases, I like that. Most valuable player, won the National League. First player in 60 years to record a batting average of .36 in 3 consecutive seasons. He was just consistently amazing at baseball. You don't have to be incredibly intelligent in the ways of baseball stats to understand that this guy was special. And he's Canadian. So, an amazing, successful, consistently incredible Canadian baseball player, Larry Walker. Okay, got it. Hayley Wickenheiser, Canada former ice hockey player. Oh, ice hockey. There's something we don't get to hear about at all in America is women's professional hockey at all. Hayley Wickenheiser. Okay. Hayley Wickenheiser is a Canadian former ice hockey player, resident physician? I'm sorry, what? She was a pro hockey player and a doctor and assistant general manager for the Toronto Maple Leafs. She was the first woman to play full-time professional men's hockey. She was the first woman to play full-time professional men's hockey in a position other than goalie. She played in a men's hockey league? Like, she's that insane? Wow, that'd be amazing. I wish I could see footage of her, honestly. Not goalie either. Like, on the field, toe-to-toe, getting slammed into by giant dudes, and she was probably slamming some dudes into the wall here and there. I don't know why when I think of hockey, I just think about the violence of it. Oh my gosh. Hayley Wickenheiser. And a physician. What the heck? And a doctor. First woman to play full-time professional men's hockey. Canada's women's national ice hockey team for 23 years. Team's career point leader. Wow. Represented Canada at the Winter Olympics 5 times. 4 gold medals. 1 silver medal. Twice being named tournament MVP. 1 time at the Summer Olympics in softball? What? Wait, what? Is there anything she can't do? 7-time winner of the World Championships. Oh my god. Tied the record for most gold medals of any Canadian Olympian. Tied the record for most gold medals of any Canadian Olympian. Widely considered to be the greatest female ice hockey player of all time. That's amazing. That's sad that I've never heard of her. Most Americans have never heard of her. I'm glad that I'm looking at these today now. These are like some amazing athletes. Incredible accomplishments. In their sport and outside of their sport, really. Huh. Okay, Jacques Villeneuve? Jacques Villeneuve? Canadian motorsports racing driver. Almost sounds familiar. Jacques Villeneuve, if I'm saying that right. Canadian professional racing driver, amateur musician, who won the 1997 Formula One World Championships. I think that's a very big deal. This just shows my ignorance in Formula One car racing. But he won it. That sounds like a big deal. He currently competes in the FIA World Endurance Championship. Cool. At the age of 52, still competing. That's awesome. Wow. I think I've heard this name before. I just talk about something I don't know about is motorsports racing. Jacques Villeneuve. Cool. Very cool. Catriona Lemédoine, if I'm saying that correctly, is Canadian speed skater. Oh, cool. I like the variety of sports that we're covering here. The AI really Didn't do too shabby here. These are some incredible athletes and in a good variety of sports, too. A lot of winter related sports, now that I think of it. Huh. Skiing, skating, hockey. A lot of winter. Is that coincidence? A lot of winter sports. Catriona Anne Lee May Doan is a retired Canadian speed skater and a double Olympic champion in the 500 meter and served as the chef de mission for Team Canada. What like the chef? Like she cooked food? No. No. Oh, excuse me. She did not cook the food. Hey, it says she was the chef. What do you want from me? The head of a diplomatic body. The person in charge of a sporting team. Well, she could have cooked some of the food too. That would have been nice. Oh, man, the nerve. Instead, she was just one of the leaders. Okay, that's cool. Very cool. Canadian speed skater. Yes, I've never heard of her. That's awesome. Kurt Browning. Canadian figure skater. Figure skater, not speed skater. Figure skater. Kurt Browning. I've not heard of him. Canadian figure skater, choreographer, commentator. He was the first skater to land a quadruple jump in competition. That sounds insane. He is a 4-time world champion and Canadian national champion, so he's just one of the best figure skaters of all time, by the sound of it. I don't know much about figure skating. When it comes on, I hate to say it, whenever the Winter Olympics come around or the Olympics, and you get to see some of these more obscure sports, they're impressive, to say the least. And figure skating is one of them. Kurt Browning. Pretty cool. Okay. Here we have Rosie McLennan, Canadian trampoline gymnast. That is a very specific expertise. Rosie McLennan is a Canadian trampoline gymnast. 2013-2018 World Trampoline Champion. 2012-2016 Olympic Champion. 2011-2015 Pan American Games Champion. Is she like one of the greatest trampoline gymnasts of all time? And I just don't know that? And it's a Canadian. Go figure. One of the best trampoline gymnasts of all time. Man. Do Canadians, some of these are a bit obscure, these sports. I feel like I can say that. They're not mainstream in America. So do most Canadians know about these athletes as well? Is it just me? Is it just Americans? Because these are insane accomplishments, but there's probably someone in America who's incredible at darts or water polo, like the best of all time maybe, and I feel like Americans wouldn't even know if there was a water polo American champion. Kind of like a Canadian trampoline gymnast. No offense to trampoline gymnasts out there. It's incredibly cool. Very cool. I've watched YouTube videos on that specifically. It's amazing. Okay, Rosie McLennan. Next we have Cindy Klassen, Canadian retired long track speed skater. Ooh. Long track speed skater. She is a 6-time medalist, having achieved 1 gold, 2 silver, 3 bronze, 6 Olympic medals. Ridiculous. Long track speed skating. Speed skating is awesome. When you watch videos of it, I feel like they need to shoot it differently, like on film, because you can't tell how fast they're going on TV, but I know it's way faster than it looks. I bet seeing speed skating, seeing Cindy Klassen in real life, would probably be mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. All right, next we have number 13, Donovan Bailey. Looks like track, Olympic athlete. What specifically? Retired Jamaican-Canadian sprinter. Once held the world record for 100 meters. That's one of the most competitive world records out there. 100-meter dash. He recorded a time of 9.84 seconds, sub 10, to win the gold medal at the 1996 Olympic Games. He was the first Canadian to break the 10-second barrier in the 100 meters. Just insane. One of the fastest Canadians ever, basically. One of the fastest humans ever. set the world record in the 100-meter at one point. Donovan Bailey, I don't think I'd ever heard of him. Pretty amazing. Huh. All-time, one of the world's all-time greatest and most dominant sprinting legends. I feel like Canadians probably know about him. Track and field is a little more well-known. And if you have like an Olympic gold medalist set the 100-meter dash from your country, you're gonna know about them. So Donovan Bailey, I had not heard of him. I didn't know. Donovan Bailey, pretty amazing. Number 14, Clara Hughes. Clara Hughes is a Canadian cyclist and speed skater. Cyclist and speed skater? Those things aren't even necessarily related. Like bicycling and speed skater who won multiple Olympic medals in both. What? Come on. That's like, it's ridiculous enough to be top of the world in one discipline, but when these people come along who can play like a little, like in America, there's been athletes who have done a little football, American football and baseball, and had success. Any two-sport athlete that is world class in both is insane. Like, get out of here. That's absurd. Leave some medals for the rest of us, please. The Canadian cyclist, speed skater, Olympic medals in both, 2 bronze at the 1996 Summer Olympics, 4 medals over the course of 3 Winter Olympics. Ridiculous. Clara Hughes. Wow. Okay. And finally, we have Wayne Gretzky. Of course we do. Okay, no self-respecting Canadian athletes list would not have Wayne Gretzky. Canadian ice hockey player. This might be the one athlete on the list that might be the most well-known in America. Maybe just the most well-known hockey player of all time. I think that's the truth. I don't know much about hockey, but even I know about Wayne Gretzky. Former professional ice hockey player. He played 20 seasons in the NHL, 4 teams, but I don't know his record or anything. Nicknamed the Great One. Oh my gosh. Been called the greatest hockey player ever by many sports writers, players, NHL itself. Oh my gosh. Leading goal scorer. Whoopsie. Leading goal scorer, assist producer, and point scorer in NHL history. I gotta watch some highlights of Wayne Gretzky. That's what I gotta do. More assists in his career than any other player scored total points. What? Only NHL player to total over 200 points in one season? And he did it 4 times. In addition, Gretzky tallied over 100 points in 16 seasons. Oh my gosh. He held 61 NHL records when he retired. Ridiculous. What on earth? So this is like the Michael Jordan, the Tiger Woods of hockey, is Wayne Gretzky. Reading his accomplishments put it a little more into context for me. Hockey Hall of Fame, probably right at the front of it. Wow. I don't watch hockey, I don't know about hockey, but I appreciate sports and athletes, so I appreciate all these athletes that I read about today. Wayne Gretzky sounds insane, like literally one of the best of all time, like in his sport, and up there with some of like those names, like Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, like one of those names, Wayne Gretzky, like for sure. Wow, pretty cool. You know, this chat GPT did a decent job at generating the list of 15 great Canadian athletes. I thought this was a good variety. Alpine skiing, basketball, soccer, swimming, MMA, baseball, racing, skating, trampoline, track and field, hockey, and cycling. Great variety. I really enjoyed this. I had not heard of, I think, 13 of these athletes out of 15 I had never heard of. And they are incredibly well decorated and successful in their sports. That just goes to show you that in America, we don't really get to learn about a lot of incredible people from other countries, particularly Canada. You know, that kind of blows my mind. But today, I think I remedied that a little bit, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada, Canadian culture, stuff about Canada and in Canada that I have never seen or talked about, feel free to subscribe for more of that. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.